Hello, welcome to another episode of Guns and Yellow Ribbons. A little bit of a wardrobe malfunction for Potsy, and obviously Lee was doing his hair, so we came on slightly later than we would like to. Lee's got a new top, haven't you? I know you're not in keeping with like the theme, but
no, I'm a bit worried because I said I'd go and get me the shirt from the Invincible, and I thought I'd put it in. It was hanging up, but it's not. So I'm gonna, as soon as we finish the day, I'm gonna have to go hunting for that because I'm a bit worried. But because you're all wearing yellow because of our success over the last two games, I've had to get the new one, which is quite nice, to be honest. It's a nice top, like, yeah. So I'm pleased with it.
And we welcome
not
back
as good as Dan and Corey's one.
We welcome back Corey. Corey, how are you?
I am good. Glad to be back. Glad to see you guys again.
It's been a few weeks, hasn't it?
It has. More than a few weeks.
And lockdown has been treating you good. I can see you. You're trying to beat me on the curls, aren't you? Because I got a few on the front and the back here and stuff like that. But
I mean, I think you're looking better than me. This is just atrocious.
Of course.
I mean, just now, not usually.
Trev, JVC man, I love that top. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Danny Ceballos. What a weekend, boys. We're at Wembley. This is all positive tonight. You'll get no negativity from me tonight. Hello, everyone. All right, boys. Smile time.
Skadron Mustafi. Sorry, Dan, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, man. I'm all good, man, and I'm happy. I'm positive, and do you know what? Who can't be positive at the moment? Getting another little trip to Wembley, so got to be happy, boys. I'm all good. Cheers, Fergus.
Brilliant. And evening to all the guys in the chat. James, Ross, Heath. We've got a few people on Facebook and a few people on YouTube. And anybody who listens to us on Spotify or any of the audio platforms, do hope you enjoy. Just let us know. Drop us a tweet on Guns and Ribbons, and just let us know what you think of the show. What we're going to do today, guys, we're going to look at the Southampton game, and we're going to look at the Sheffield United FA Cup game. We'll have a brief look ahead to the Norwich game, at our first home game under lockdown, and just a general chat and see how it goes. You know, we have an hour on here, and let's go. So lineups in the Southampton game. It was a strange setup because I didn't know if we were playing 4 at the back at one point, 3 at the back, or 5 at the back. Dan, what did you make of the lineups there?
Well, listen, the last few games I've been impressed with the lineups, and some people have been a bit confused about it. We all know we had to rotate and what have you because of the amount of games we're playing. But one thing I will say is I've been really impressed with Arteta giving the youth a chance. And I said last night that I was really impressed with being right about this team, that it's the seniors that I'm not wanting to see in the team that are still making the silly mistakes, but it's the youth that have been the positive. And that for me is the biggest positive we can have. Is this: we have got some great young players at this football club at the moment that are finally getting a chance that I believe they deserve under Mikel Arteta, and that's something that we can all be positive about, boys. And for me, the last couple of games, they have been the shining light. So I was pleased to see that in the lineup. I will touch on Eddie Nketiah against Southampton because him starting, a lot of people are question marking the fact that Aubameyang and Lacazette aren't getting a nod ahead of Eddie, but Arteta obviously sees something in Eddie Nketiah and along with some of the other youngsters as well. So for me, it's all positive from over the last couple of games. Eddie's goal itself was a typical striker's goal. Some of the performances with Joe Willock coming on, superb. And I think that when you look at...
We'll get to that one. Well, we're looking more just at the lineups at this stage and what you thought of the whether it was a 3, 4, or 5.
Yeah. I think
getting told off.
Getting told off here for talking positive and getting told off. It was absolutely rubbish. Move on.
Lee, you're obviously more professional after coming off Chronicles of a Gooner and everything else. And Harry's probably taught you well and so on. What did you make of the defensive lineup and also Saka having a change of position again?
Well, do you know what? I'm going to say it now. I think it's very encouraging that Saka is being sort of put into different positions. It just shows you, the intelligence of him as a footballer, that he can play him well. I think he's played left back superbly. He's played wide on the left brilliantly. I thought he'd done okay on Sunday in a different role. So I'm really liking that. it shows you that he can play in different positions, and manager trusts him to play in those positions. So and he's 18 years of age. Sometimes you'll get a manager turn around and say, I'm going to have to put my most experienced player there because he can trust him that little bit more. But he trusts an 18-year-old kid to perform wherever he wants him to perform. I think that's a great thing. The lineup, I thought, defensively, we can put 10 at the back and it'll still be shaky. You know what I mean? That's how
We'll come on to that in a minute. We'll come on to that in a minute, Lee. Hang on. We'll come on to the defenders in a minute.
So, but as far as I'm concerned, the last two lineups have been very, very positive. So very, very positive. So as we're talking about the lineups, I think they've been okay, and that is it as far as I'm concerned. So move on to someone else to take a rollicking. That's what I say.
Corey, you're far more a gentleman than some others present, and I know you won't give me a hard time. What did you make of the lineups and the shape, and in particular that you've got Xhaka starting again? What did you make of that?
I like the lineup. I know what you mean in terms of like who was at the back and who was playing where, because I initially thought, it was Klesniak, centre back, and then I see him in opposition box, and then you see, maybe Tierney dropping back. So it wasn't rigid. I think it was quite fluid. With Saka, just like what Lee said, he's versatile. He is a player that's intelligent enough to play in many different positions. He's got pace. He's got everything you need as a footballer, which makes it easier to put him wherever you need him. And I think it's just good for his development as well. I have no idea at this stage where he's going to end up now, but I like him at left wing. But I think he could easily play like in a middle three as well.
Well, we talked about him last week. Was it last week or the week before? And he was playing more that sort of number 10 role and build a team around him there. But he is so good out on the left. The only area where I've seen him a little bit suspect, and it might have been because it was early into the project restart and everything else, was when he played out on the right wing. He wasn't as good. Trev, your thoughts on that, and Xhaka back in the holding midfield role?
Saka's our superstar,
I see Lee's face. He's got this smile on him. He's a man of mischief tonight.
Fergus, can you stop cutting me out, please, now? Listen to the old man speaking now. Consider yourself told, son. Right. Saka is our new superstar. Saka is the man we're going to build our team around in the future. Saka could play wherever he wants for me, right? Because the boy, as Lee rightly said, and Corey agreed, and we've all said, he's 18 years old and he is already, I think, the best player in our side. Now, he's the best player in our side, right? And so he's our future. And what you've got to remember is Dan's exactly right as well, but there's another thing about playing these youngsters, right? The youngsters are easier for Arteta to coach. The older players are more set in their way. The older players won't want to listen so much. The younger players are going to do as they're asked, and then in Arteta we trust. Saka's our superstar. We do whatever he wants. I love the way he faded in and out the left when he played in the 10 role, and he was out there with Tierney and Kolasinac, if we're honest, right? And it was lovely to watch the football down that side of the field. And we've still got Martinelli to come back in down there, another youngster. I'm really excited about it. There's no negativity from me tonight, Saka's our man. And as for Xhaka, you asked about Xhaka. It's easy to sub Xhaka up right at the moment. He's not very popular with me because of what he's done, but there comes a time when we have to move on from that, right? And at this present time, he's the best of what we've got in that position. So he plays, and we hope he plays well. The only other player we've got that can play in that position, in my eyes, is Luiz. I'd love to see Luiz move up and get off in the ball, but it don't look like he's going to do that. So Xhaka plays when he's fit because he's the best we've got. Saka's our superstar. We build our future around that man. We sign him up to a 7-year contract now, and we build our team around him for the next 5 years. Right, I'm done. You can talk now, Fergus.
Who up for a 7-year contract?
Saka, Saka.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I was a bit worried there for a second. How important, Dan, how important is Granit Xhaka to the... I know what Trev said there, and it is a really good point that he is the best that we've got, but how important is he to the whole formation of how Arteta is setting his teams up? Because when he plays, we generally keep a clean sheet. And we're winning in the pre-season stuff. When he played, we kept clean sheets when he went off against Brentford. We ended up losing 3-2, and then again he played in the FA Cup semi-final and the Southampton game, and lo and behold, we're winning games.
Yeah, let's. I mean, listen. He is the. Trev summed it up perfectly. He is the best of a bad bunch, and I don't want to get too carried away.
Hang on a minute. Potts. Lee, you've grown hair and a beard, son. I'm sure he said, Lee, what do you think then? And then Skodran butted in. What's going on tonight?
That's Dan.
He said Dan.
I did say Dan.
Did I jump in?
It did say Dan.
Oh, now I'm hiding. I'll be back in a minute. Hang on.
This is why I love this podcast, man, because it just goes wrong and who cares? Xhaka, for me, the best of a bad bunch as far as I'm concerned. Listen, I personally prefer Lucas Torreira and always have done. I think he gives us that little bite, that little tenacity that we need in the middle. But for me, with Granit Xhaka at the moment, nobody can say that he's been poor. He still has mistakes in him. I still believe there's passes which go wrong. We see it against Southampton, against Sheffield United. He's flicking it over someone's head and then gives the ball away again. And you think, why has it always got that mistake in him? And it's like that with all of these senior players. You know, I've said it with Mustafi, Luiz, Kolasinac and Xhaka. They've all got that one mistake in them. It doesn't really matter who you play or how many of them play at the same time. They've all got that mistake in them. But you can't deny that at the moment, the stats do not lie. And Mikel Arteta sees Granit Xhaka as a future Arsenal player. So we cannot moan about him anymore because he is going to be in the team. And it wouldn't surprise me if Aubameyang goes next season that he's wearing that armband again. And that's all I want to say about Granit Xhaka, because for me, he is not our future. I do not want to see him in the future, but I think he's going to be. I personally believe he's slow. He's got no athleticism. I'd rather see someone who's hard working in there, like Liverpool have got with the Oxlade-Chamberlains, than the Kietas and those sort of players. But for me, we haven't got any players like that at the moment. So Granit Xhaka, he's getting the nods, and you don't hear many fans slating him at the moment. And rightly so, he hasn't been as poor as he has been over the last few seasons. But for me, I can just see mistakes in him coming, and it won't take long before fans turn again, because this is Arsenal and this is what happens.
You know what? I don't think fans have even unturned, because I'm like Trev from Palace at home back in October. The guy was done, but he's doing a job. Arteta believes in him, so I believe in Arteta. So I will put up and shut up for now, because we've got no other option. Lee, Eddie Nketiah started the game. Dan touched on it earlier as well about him starting, but he got a goal that was offside. What did you think of his first half performance? I thought he played really, really well.
Very promising, I have to say that. I didn't think that he should be playing. I think what's happened to him as well, which I think will help him now, is that without Martinelli being there, the pressure of him being in the side and being on the bench has gone off. So I feel he can probably be a little bit more relaxed. I think it's shown in his last two performances. I felt the first two he was a little bit edgy, and a lot of fans, myself included, were sort of saying, look, we want Martinelli in the side and Aubameyang down the middle, because we was comparing Eddie with Martinelli. But now we haven't got that option with Martinelli. Eddie has thrived on it, if I'll be honest. I thought his work rate was exceptional on the game against Southampton. He worked really, really hard. And what's good about it is you can use him in that role, or you can use him as an impact player, because after 70 minutes of him wearing down a defence, he can come on, another forward can come on, whether it's Lacazette or whoever, can come on, and that, to a tiring defence, or vice versa, when the defence is tiring like it did on Sunday, he comes on, and and stretches the back four or back three or whatever it is. But what was the most encouraging thing of all is when I watched all the Arsenal players not really using the right option in the final third, but when it mattered, he had to make that pass in the final third, made it. So not only is he contributing on the goal scoring front, he's contributing with assists and work rate as well. And let him prove me wrong for as long as he can, you know what I mean? Because I do feel that, he's going to be a vital squad player or backup striker for us for the next couple of seasons. I've been impressed with him. I've got to say that, particularly in the last couple of games. I've been very impressed.
Given the option, okay, if Martinelli was fit, would you start Eddie or Martinelli?
Oh, I would always go with Martinelli. But, maybe both. But no, I think that, Martinelli, Aubameyang and Pepe would be my first choice front three at this moment in time. I think that'd be a fantastic front three going forward to next season as well. But you need players to back that up, and Eddie would be a perfect foil for that because he can go down the middle, he can play on the flank as well. So I do feel that the future of our football club is Saka. That's Saka, and Martinelli are my two players that I feel are the future of this football club.
Corey, Aubameyang, he didn't seem to be on top form again. I don't know if it's because he's been pushed out onto the left, and I don't think he likes it as much out there. But he unusually hit the underside of the bar, and it bounced everywhere but behind the line. I know the keeper got a slight thumb to it, but what did you make? What did you make of that of Aubameyang's sort of performance, especially in the first half, and that missed opportunity?
Yeah, he was unlucky with that shot. I thought he struck it well. It had a lot of power and whatnot on it. It's just it happens. It's crossbars. In terms of his overall performance, I think he's a bit unlucky because strikers typically, when they're scoring, their performances are over the 90 minutes is usually better than when they're not. And the fact that we've come back, had Man City as the first game, hardly got a kick, I think that wasn't great for his performance. So, I think he just needs a goal pretty much at this point. I think he's still working. As for him playing on the left, I mean, I think I don't really like it, especially at the stage of his career. What is he now, 30, 31? That's quite old to be shifted out onto the left and having to do a lot more running up and down the flanks. I think, when players typically get to this age, they get moved inside so that they can use their energy a bit more efficiently. He's got pace, he can pass any defender. You kind of want to use that in the most dangerous areas as opposed to just trying to beat a right back. So I don't know how he feels about that. He's not complained publicly or anything, but considering he's been a striker most of his career, I can't imagine that he's that happy about it.
Okay. No team has made more errors leading to opposition goals in the Premier League this season than Southampton. They conceded 10. Q McCarthy fluffed his lines, and Eddie pounced to score 1-0. Eddie talked after the game, and we will go on to talk more about Eddie generally because he scored 11 goals. 6 goals and 11 starts, 4 for Arsenal and 2 for Leeds. But he talked about being a nuisance, Trev. I just think he just looks like I don't know, an Ian Wright or something. He looks like proper old school. You've seen millions of players going through. You're that old.
Thanks, mate. It was he has credit to Leeds really because I think he's come back from Leeds a better player, a much better player. He looks more physical and he is developing nicely into a one of these forwards that's a pain in the backside. I was so chuffed with the way he chased down to score that goal at Southampton because it's the keeper's mistake, but Eddie's got to be there to take advantage of that mistake, and he was. So good on the lad. Good on the lad. Just talking about who's going to play with Eddie, it honestly wouldn't surprise me if by the time we get halfway through next season, our top 4 up the field are Saka, Pepe, Martinelli and Eddie. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if them 4 are playing in the same side up the pitch for the Arsenal. I think and just going back to the old Aubameyang thing, I'm gonna disagree slightly with you, Corey. I'm sorry, son, but that was a bad miss. Whether I don't care. Well, Dan, you saw my comment. What I put. I don't care if he got a thumb on it or whatever on it. He should be putting that in the back of the net. If Lacazette had missed that chance, we'd have been at him and at him badly, you know. So, but no, I'm excited about these youngsters. Eddie, if he keeps on improving like he has, I had my doubts at the end of last season. I thought he slowed down his progress a little bit. But this season he seems to be back on it. And yeah, come on, Eddie. Stick in the side, son. And it'll be good.
We seem to be very much, and it was the same against Sheffield. When we look at the game a few minutes against Sheffield, we seem to be a 45-minute, and we had this even before lockdown. Under Arteta, we seem to be able to play for 45 minutes, and then we either don't turn up for the first 45 or we don't turn up for the second 45. And in this Southampton game, about halfway through, they had 70% possession in the half. Lee, it took to the 85th minute for Aubameyang to be fouled as a last man by Jack Stevens, who, funnily enough, both his red cards in the Premier League have come against Arsenal, the last one in April 2018. What did you make of... there was Lacazette and Aubameyang toying between who was going to take the free kick, and it bounced around, and Joe Willock snuffed out a close range shot to put us 2-1 up. It was a really nice feeling. But what did you make of the performance leading up to that beforehand? Why are we only a 45-minute team, Lee?
Oh, listen, let's not get carried away at this moment in time. We're not a great side at the moment. That's why, you know what I mean? I think what Arteta is doing is trying to put some foundations down to go forward, and I think that's the key is using the youngsters and all that. It's not we're very, very shaky at the back, and we all know that we need replacements in there. And at this moment in time, I think we're 10th in the league at the moment, and so that we are where we are because of the quality of players that we've got. What I think we've got to look beyond that and look at the positives of it all is if Arteta is starting to get a tune out of the likes of Mustafi and Kolasinac and Joe Willock and all these younger guys, Eddie and all that, what is he going to do when he's got the players that he actually wants in the side and can develop? I think he's trying to play a system or trying to implement a system that, let's be quite frank about it, half of these players are not going to be around to see it through. That is the way it is. So I think that you're going to get a little bit of hit and miss. But what really frustrates me at the moment is that when you get a good win, and I watched Southampton against Norwich and they destroyed Norwich, and then everybody turning around and saying, "Oh, we're going to lose to Southampton." No one give us a prayer. Everybody was predicting that we was going to lose. As soon as we beat them, Southampton, poor team. What do you expect? We're expected to beat them. Then I go and watch them against Watford the other day, raining shots in against the Watford that had just beaten Liverpool a little while ago. And everybody says, "Oh, it's a tough place to go, Watford." And then in Southampton licked the floor of them. And everybody then says, "Oh, what a great team Southampton are all of a sudden." But they were poor against us. Sheffield United, what a great job he's doing there. Oh, what a great job he's doing. We go up there and play. Even on Match of the Day, they turn around and said, it would have made a big difference if the fans would have been there, but probably Arsenal wouldn't have won that game. They weren't saying that about the fans against Brighton when they scored a last-minute winner against us. I think that, we can only play what's in front of us, guys. And if these teams, I watched Southampton. I've watched them 3 times now. And against us, they weren't impressive. In the other 2 games, they were. So I'm going to look at the positive and go, well, maybe we made them look a little bit shabby that day and didn't allow them to play the way that they've been playing in the last 3 or 4 games. So we're not as bad as what we are, but we're not as good as what we want to be. And that's where I think we are at the moment, And listen, I'm delighted that we beat Southampton because I didn't think we was going to. We put in a performance, and I don't care what other people are saying. 2-0 away from home at any ground in the Premier League, I'll take that every bloody day. And then, to go in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup and win, I don't care how you win. This is what annoys me about other teams. When Man United get a scrappy win against Norwich, that's what good teams do. That's what they all do. When Arsenal do it, it's the crap opposition. It's starting to frustrate me a little bit. We've had two good wins, let's not go overboard about them, but let's take the positivities from them and not criticise the opposition.
Lee Judges, well said, son. Absolutely nailed that there. But listen, we know we're a mid-table side. We know we're not the best, right? And we've been on a downer when we're getting beaten, but we've just won 2 games in a row. So let's enjoy it. Let's be positive about it.
Yeah.
I saw on social media this week, oh, we've beaten Sheffield United in the cup. Oh, but we've got to play City now. We're going out. Don't worry about City. Enjoy beating Sheffield United. I know they've been bad after they've not been the best side after the break, but before that they were playing really well and everyone's singing their praises. Southampton, Lee's so right. Southampton will beat people and we've turned over. Enjoy it, boys. Be positive.
I'll make you both right. Social media and our fan base. I know Dan's view on it is as well. Sometimes they're absolutely toxic. Listen, let's finish on the Southampton.
It's not just the fans; it's the media as well, Fergus. The media as well. Jump on the. They feed the fans. They come out with these comments. Rio Ferdinand and Robin van Persie and all that are on there saying, "Well, this ain't a great Sheffield United." They feed the fans, and our fans feed off of it. So that's that. Sorry to interrupt you.
Great. It's fine. Dan Willock, what did you make of his performance and his goal?
Joe Willock's a strange one for me. I'm not going to sit there and slate any kid. I'll slate the senior players when they do stuff wrong that have been doing it for years. But these kids, I'm not going to sit there and slate the Guendouzi's and Pepe's and Tierney's and all that. And Willock for one for me. I have said that I don't think he's one that I think is going to definitely make it at Arsenal. I'm not going to sit there and say that I think he's going to be a brilliant next Cesc Fabregas. But he's a hard worker. He's a grafter. And I think he's one player that has sort of 20 minutes a game of looking a real good player. And I'd like to see now from Joe Willock some more consistency in games. I think that the goal that he'd scored was a great one. You know, he was there to follow it up, and I want to see that some late runs from a midfield. So we don't get enough goals for our midfield, Fergus. You know, and I think he's actually our top goal scorer now in midfield in all competitions, Joe Willock, which just shows you that he's got something about him. I like his work rate. I think he's probably an 8, not a 10. I don't see him as a number 10, and I don't like this number 10 role. I think that's one thing Arteta has done is we've not seen Ozil because the number 10 role's dead, which is good for me. So Joe Willock, for me, I'd like to see more of the lad, and I think we can see that in the next rest of this kind of project restart. And I'll get behind the lad because I think he's only 20 years old and he's still got time to grow into this team and mould into what I believe is a good Arteta philosophy. So yeah, I'm happy with Joe Willock.
Corey, overall, then, what did you make of the performance as a whole in the Southampton game?
It was okay. Like you said, like game of 2 halves. We gave them some chances. They didn't take them, thankfully. We took our chances. It was it was a decent performance. We kind of grinded out the win. I wasn't impressed too much in terms of, we didn't sort of blow them away. There wasn't many passages of play that wowed me or anything. But the youngsters did okay. It's a professional win. That's about it. 3
points. We're going home. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? We've only registered our 3rd away win of the season in the Premier League. So we've won 3, drawn 8, lost 5, and all 3 wins coming under different managers. We've had 1 win under Arteta away from home, 1 from Lundberg, and 1 from Emery. So definitely a weird season. Somebody's put in the comments, the league don't lie. It don't lie. We're 10th for a reason, 9th for a reason. And we'll have to build and go on from there. Before we start into the Sheffield game, it's probably an opportunity for Lee and Trevor probably to talk about this more, unless the other 2 guys know. I'm not extremely familiar with the late Theo Foley. He was George Graham's number 2. I had sent a message to Lee to see if we could get Kevin on, but Kevin Campbell is doing some TV work for Spanish TV. Did you say Spanish football, Lee, was it, or something?
Yeah, he's not doing Spanish stuff at the moment. Very busy as our Kevin at the moment.
Yeah. I was hoping he could come on because he played under Theo Foley, who died at the age of 83. Not trying to get political or anything like that, but I thought it was a little bit poor form. I know they'll probably do something as the Norwich game because we're doing a big thing about the COVID people who've died through the pandemic, Arsenal fans. But there was no black armbands. But yet again, Northampton Town at Wembley were able to put black armbands on. Football teams, not just Arsenal, but football teams get very passionate about all various causes and so on, and they wear badges and laces and rounds of applause and minutes silence for all different various reasons, whatever it be. But I would have thought for a guy who was our number 2, who we won in 1989 with George Graham at Liverpool, I think we just missed or dropped the ball by not having it at Sheffield. Guys, which of you would like to talk a little bit about him? Either you know much about him? Trev, do you want to go? Do you know much about Theo? I know he's an Irishman, so
I don't know. I don't know if Lee ever met him or anything. I never met the man.
Yeah.
So I only really knew him as a fan at the time, and so I can only talk about how he influenced me as a fan, not as a person, because I never spoke to him or met him. But he used to make you smile, did Theo Foley, when you saw him around the touchline. He looked like he was the one that was the friendly guy, the good guy out of the good guy, bad guy thing with George Graham for me. And I know that all the players respected him very, very much. Strangely enough, when I had my last chat with Kevin, right at the end of it, if you look at it, right at the end of it, I said, Kev, do me a favour. Next time we chat, can we talk about Stuart Houston and Theo Foley? Because 2 people that I very much admired with Arsenal Football Club as a youngster, but never really knew about. So I was looking forward to having a chat about Theo, and I hope that still happens. I don't know if you know any more, Lee, do you?
Well, through Kevin told me a few stories, and obviously through Twitter on that he followed me and I followed him, and we spoke a few times on Twitter. Just a lovely man, you know what I mean? And the stories that Kevin tells you, where, you know, is exactly what Trevor said. You know, the players thought so much of him. Like, you know, he would, you know, he was a little bit of the older generation, but he'd get into all the banter with the players. You know what I mean? If they were doing things, you get like the boys from South London were doing some reggae stuff, and he'd be asking them to show him the moves and things like that, and he'd get involved and do things like that. But of course, with every great manager, there's always a great number 2, a great coach, and that's what you need. And you know, someone that's going to take the burden off of the training side of things, and be what the players need, a mate, where, you know, you're not got it with the manager, but you can go to the assistant manager and have a chat with him, and it keeps in house a little bit. And and I think that he was a great foil for that. Of course, he had a few tragedies in his life. He lost his son just before he died. He died before, obviously, Theo did. So I think he had some, bad times, but he was always engaging with the Arsenal fans. I think he loved his time at Arsenal. I think he was very, very grateful for his time at Arsenal. And I think that, it was always, they was probably going to do something for the home game. I just feel that if Arsenal had just come out and just said, we'll be wearing the black armbands for the home game, I think that would have been great, you know what I mean? And just putting all the Arsenal fans a bit at ease about it, because, the history of the football club and the players that have gone before means so much to the likes of us all, and, for me and Trevor and for everybody that, that supports Arsenal, always be eternally grateful for what he done in 87, 88, 89, in those 3 or 4 seasons he was there. There was, don't forget, we got to won the cup in 87, Littlewoods Cup, lost it in 88, and then, of course, won it in 89. And then, obviously, Stuart Houston was part of that backroom staff, then took over. So, they were, without a doubt, fantastic times to be an Arsenal fan, and Theo was very much part of that. And, what I can say, always engaging on Twitter. If you spoke to him, he'd give you a straight answer, and just a lovely guy, full of memories, and thoughts go out to his family and friends, and it's a sad day for Arsenal and the Arsenal family, without a doubt.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Trevor,
absolutely.
Touched on your chats with Kevin. It's a "Who are you?" isn't it? Isn't that the one you do with Kevin Campbell? You've done a couple, haven't you?
Yeah, well, so was Dan and Lee, and they're very enjoyable to do. I love doing them, and I also watch everyone that's on them. Every one of them's good. But I'll tell you what, boys, if you can't watch all of them, you must watch the 4 he's done with John Budgie Burridge, because that man is class. That man is full on entertainment. Some of the things he comes out with have me in stitches. Brilliant. You must, if you don't watch any of ours, watch the John Burridge ones. Hilarious.
So go search for Kevin Campbell's YouTube channel. They're all on there, and have a look at them. I know they've got some other of our friends and our group that are on there as well, and there's some proper characters giving some proper stories. And then there's Dan. I'm only joking. Right, so we face in the FA Cup quarterfinals. We didn't think this was even going to happen. I thought we would only, if Project Restart happened, I thought it would only be the league. I didn't think the FA Cup would come back. I thought that would have been sacrificed just to get everything in time and so on. But they've continued with the FA Cup. Both teams have now faced each other 13 times in all competitions in history. Games have contained some brilliance and some controversy. There was that incredible save in the semi-final that David Seaman did, where he caught it looked from right behind him off the line. And that was in 2003. And there was also the 1999, and we touched on it a few weeks back on here, about the voided game that was replayed after Arsenal played on when somebody got injured and scored a goal. Wenger just came along and said, well, we'll play it again then. So the lineups, no Ozil. What a surprise. Aubameyang on the bench. I think he needed probably a bit of a rest. Lacazette and starts, and Maitland-Niles in his preferred position. And Saka started again. Corey, what did you make of the lineup?
Yeah, I thought it was fine for the FA Cup tie. I think Aubameyang did need to have a little rest, he needed a little break, just mentally more so than physically, I think. And you needed to give some of the kids a try, and it was a good opportunity to give some of the kids a try in different positions and whatnot. So I was happy with the lineup, had no problems with it at all. And I thought it was good enough to win that game.
Dan, what did you make of the lineup, and were you pleased not to see Ozil again?
I was really pleased that Ozil wasn't there, and you know why. But I was really pleased that he's actually changed it up, because we saw under both of our previous managers that we were sticking with the same formation, different players. Plan A was just, there was no plan B. Arteta's changed things. And for me, it was like a Allegri set up from Juventus. I saw an article today, and it just reminded me so much of Allegri under Juventus when he does the 3-6-1. That was the formation for me. It was 3 at the back, and he had kind of 6 across with Laka up top, and they were all into kind of playing with Lacazette, and it made him play better. It gave Pepe more breathing space. I loved the way that Willock was in the first kind of, I'd say 20 minutes, quite quiet, him and Xhaka, but I think that they both come into the game. Joe Willock towards the latter part of the first half, I thought was outstanding. Really impressed with Maitland-Niles. I thought a lot of the youth were really, really impressive. But for me, the man of the match by a country mile was Kieran Tierney. So I think the actual lineup itself was suiting all of those individuals. And for me, I think he got it spot on. You have to credit Mikel Arteta for that. He's changed things. He's got the formation right. And it was a hard game against Sheffield United, and we knew how they were going to play. And this lineup, I think, was absolutely spot on. And I was really pleased not to see Mesut Ozil in there, because, again, I don't believe a number 10 works in modern day football now. So, yeah, 3-6-1, really, really bizarre. I did not expect it at all. I could not have predicted that formation. So I was really pleased.
I think Sky or BT, whoever, I think it was BT, was showing us at 3-2-4-1, but yeah, 3-6, just where they drop back and forth. Trevor, what did you make of our calamitous defence again? Louise, and like you mentioned about Tierney and man of the match performance, holding a man of the match performance in the Southampton game. But when you've got players like Shadra Mustafi, and you got players, although Mustafi did have a good game against Sheffield in fairness, and players like Louise making
Mustafi.
He wasn't that
Look,
bad. Go on.
Oh,
Go on, Trev.
just picking up on what young Dan said there, right? Dan's exactly right, because when you looked at that lineup, you had no idea that lineup that Arteta named. It could have been any formation. On social media, people couldn't work out what we were going to do, and that was fantastic because the interchanging was brilliant. It was brilliant. Now, I don't think it was a calamity that the Sheffield United goal, right? I've got to go against the grain a bit. It was just one of them. It was if we hadn't had a defence that's made a load of mistakes, that would have been put down as just a bit of bad luck. He's oofed the ball, he's hit his mate and gone in, and rebounded off him and gone in the net or gone to the striker. It happens. That happens, right? He's not messed about with the ball. He's done exactly what we've been telling the Arsenal defence to do for years. Get a boot on it and try and kick it into Rose Ed, right? If you're in that area, and he's tried to do that, and it's rebounded off his mate. So I don't know. I can accept that. I know we're going to come on to the end of the game in a minute, right? But the most I don't care who the man of the match was. The most pleasing thing about about that game, right, was that I can't remember the last time an Arsenal side gave away an equaliser in the last 10 minutes of a game and didn't lose it, because we are known to capitulate. Give away a goal with 10 minutes to go and we capitulate the Arsenal, right? We didn't this time, did we? We picked it up, but we went down the other end and we slotted a winner. I honestly, and you boys will put me right, or someone will put me right in the comments, I'm sure. But that excites me greatly. It excites me greatly.
Since we've shown that little bit of fight, because we do have a soft underbelly at the minute, and if you bully us whatsoever. Corey, what did you make of the foul on Lacazette? When I saw it in real time, I actually thought the foul was outside the box.
Yeah, so did I. To be honest with you, so did I. Yeah, I didn't really have a strong opinion on it, to be honest with you, Fergus. I felt like I wasn't sure. Like you said, was it inside the box? Was it outside the box? Or whatnot? So yeah, I don't know. You should probably ask somebody else about this one, because I didn't really have that strong an opinion on it.
Lee, what did you make of it? I thought it was outside the box, and I was surprised that the referee gave it in open play, and it didn't have to go to VAR and all of that, and 16 angles and replays and everything else. And on from that, what did you make of Pepe's opening goal as a penalty? What did you make of it? So
well, I thought it was a penalty straight away, 100%. I don't see what the district did. No dispute. I've seen a lot less penalties be given for that. There is this thing where there's I've seen Son go down, and when people on the pundits have turned around and said there's contact. There's contact. It's got to go. It was more than contact for that. You know what I mean? It was a penalty as far as I was concerned. Inside the box, I thought the referee done well to give it. If it was against us, I would, like the one against David Luiz, you just say around and say it was a definite penalty, no argument. And it certainly was. And I watched the one against Spurs and Man United with Pogba. You got people turning around and saying that weren't a penalty. Well, I think it was. And if there's contact, it's a penalty. And it's great to see that we're getting decisions right for ourselves on the time. I have to say, the penalty never in doubt. I've got to say that, never in doubt. What a great penalty!
I would have to agree that when I saw it inside the box on replay, I saw it was inside the box, but in real time, it looked like it was just on the edge of the box. That was what I was trying to say. But yeah.
Oh right, I thought it was inside. I called it straight away. That's a penalty. I had my glasses on. Probably you didn't have yours on, so that may be something to do with it. But definitely penalty.
Hand.
It might have been two or three of them. You know what I mean? So I only have half, so I'm sharp. But I have to say the penalty was absolutely. I think when it comes to the penalty, he could have had another goalkeeper in there, wouldn't have saved it. It was that in the corner, beautiful penalty. A great start for us, and listen, we needed to get that goal in front against them, because we could have been a goal down earlier on from a Mustafi masterclass, but we weren't. And once I think we went 1-0 up, then I think that we done okay, and that's particularly in the first half. And I'm with Trev. You know what I mean? The end bit, the last 5 minutes, summed up Arsenal, and then the last minute it didn't. You know what I mean? And I've challenged anybody to. So when that went 1-1, everybody was thinking, "Oh, that's it. They're going to win this guy." I thought then that they'd become favourites to win the game. So from to come out with a win, I'm more than impressed. But I thought it was a great penalty from Pepe. I think that we've got a couple of good penalty takers now. I think I'm going to say this now. I feel more comfortable with Pepe taking the penalty than Aubameyang.
Yeah,
Agree.
I agree.
Agree.
Yeah, I
Agree.
When you looked at all of Pepe's goals in France season before, he looked like such an assured penalty taker. He just, I back this guy when we have a free kick. I think there's a good chance it's just going to go in. So when he steps up for a penalty, he always looks assured. He can strike the ball better than probably anyone at the club. So I think he should be the number one if he's on the pitch.
And Dan, you shared a stat thing on a WhatsApp group about Pepe and his stats. He's been involved in, I think, 16 goals with 8 assists and 8 goals. There's not many players that come into the Premier League that early on and get those sort of stats. Yet again, people go, I don't know, shit, including myself.
Yeah, I don't understand why people will give Pepe a hard time, but then they'll believe that Ozil should be in the team. I don't understand these fans, But for me, I think he's had a good season. He's had 3 different managers. He's come to a different league. He's tried to settle through a pandemic. There's so much going against the guy. He's settling in with players that are bang average, by the way. And he's returning stats like that. When Pires and Ljungberg did that consistently, they were great. So if Pepe is going to come in and do that consistently, let's give him the chance to prove that he's got the ability, because I believe he's got huge potential. People are saying we haven't seen the real Pepe yet. Give him time. He's still got more goals and assists than Zaha, and everyone said that we should have got Zaha. So I think he's been a good signing. I know it's a lot of money, but it is over installments. I just think we need to start giving this kid a lot of credit that I believe he deserves now. He's 25 just, so he's still young. He's got 5 to 7 years at Arsenal if he wants it, and I hope that he gets the chance, because I hope the fans give him time to prove what he's got. He's probably technically one of our better players. I think he's got he's definitely the most skillful player, without a doubt. I would like to see him through the middle a bit more, and I think that's why he was actually better on Sunday, because he wasn't just hugging that right-hand side. He was coming inside to help Lacazette, and that's why I think that formation worked for Arteta, because Pepe had the Willocks and the Maitland-Niles to kind of work with him. Bellerin doesn't really seem to be doing that for me, but Maitland-Niles, I thought, and Willock made Pepe play so much better and give him a lot more freedom to play with Lacazette. So I'm a Pepe fan. I think give him time, and I think he'll be the player we want him to be.
I think Richard, who was on last week, makes a very good point, because this is the thing where I've talked about Pepe, that he's slow on the uptake of the ball and moving. And he says Pepe looks good since the restart, as the pace of the game has been slower than it was before the break, which I think is a very, very good point, because you can see
he's changed his tune, Richard. You've changed, Richard. Richard's changed. He said to me once Ozil on the right, now he's going for Pepe. Come on, Rich. Don't be a flip-flop. Come on, mate.
Richard also wants Xhaka as captain, so
Oh.
Richard has opinions, and we love Richard to bits. He's a good fan of the show, and he joins us here, but he does have some controversial opinions, that's for sure. But he knows his Arsenal, doesn't he? You've had him on same old Arsenal with the quizzes. He knows his Arsenal.
Boy, I'll give him that. He knows more about quizzes than he does football. You know what I mean?
You're getting done, Rich. You're getting done. Sorry, mate.
How does he know the pace of the game's changed? Has he been playing or something? Has he been running around his living room, playing the game? No one knows. But I tell you what, all jokes aside, it is a valid point.
Yeah,
he's made.
Yeah. The equaliser that was unfortunate. It was Klasniak clearance, and I think that was the one you were referring to earlier, where he cleared the ball and it came off the other striker. That was unfortunate. But let's look at the positives. Saka starts a great move for the winner. on the 90.37, 90 minutes, nearly 91st minute for Danny Ceballos. I was watching it with some mates, socially distant, obviously, and we celebrated. So what did we make of Ceballos' goal then, Trev? Because I know you sent us a voice note saying singing a song.
Hey, you were drunk, Fergus. Let me tell you, pal.
Me?
Yeah, you. It was a great feeling when the first thing I thought, right, was, oh God, I wish I was there, because obviously if fans were allowed, I'd have been there. And we all know, right? There is no better feeling as a football fan, none, bar none. There is no better feeling than an injury time winner in an away game, right? There would have been limbs going everywhere, Adidas trainers flying all over the place.
Ceballos, he eats paella, he drinks Estrella. The boy is fucking magic. 1, 2, 3, 4. Danny Ceballos.
Oh, I go on.
Yeah. I only heard that bit. I turned you off after the first couple of lines, to be honest.
I wish I could have been. I wish I could have gone on mute.
I even know Wembley.
Hey, wasn't it a good goal as well? And as I said, and I'll say it again, it was great that we were confident enough after giving away that equaliser to come back and play a move like that. And Saka, the boy, was in on it again. And yeah, brilliant. Ceballos, main man for me on Sunday. You score a goal in a cup quarter final, you're the top man, and you make me happy. You make me positive. And why can't we go on and beat City, eh? Why can't we go on and beat City?
Hold on, Jeff.
Wait a minute. All you Arsenal fans out there that are so no, we've got City next. You're an Arsenal fan. Be positive. What's the point of having a great win away at Sheffield United and the first thing you read on social media is not, oh, we've had a great win. The first thing you read is, oh, we've got City next. Don't worry about City. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the minute. Get drunk like me and Fergus did and make fools of yourselves.
Gotta love Trev, innit? Gotta love Trev.
Oh dear. So we're playing City. When is the semi-final then?
18th or 19th of July.
18th, 9th of July. Okay. And there's no sign of fans being, because I did hear a rumor of a select number of fans being allowed in or stuff like that. So
I heard nothing.
No, I doubt it.
You know what? We've done it again. We went to Wembley against City in 2017. We didn't stand a Scooby, and we've done it. And then I went to the final in 2017, where Chelsea were by far a better team than us at that time, and they were on a crest of a wave. And one of the best days I've ever had at football at Wembley Stadium. Was that Dan? We had an amazing day, didn't we?
It was unreal. And you know what? Listen, I think Chelsea will get past Manchester United. Personally, I think the way they're playing is great. So it could be the similar lineup to 2017. Who knows? Listen, if we defend well, and I say if because we say this every week, we have a chance against City because their defense is also pretty poor. Now I know Laporte is back and it's great, but Otamendi, John Stones, whoever plays alongside him, if we can get some serious kind of chances against that defense and try and keep 11 men on the field would be good, and not have one of them like Luis giving mistakes away. Then who knows? It's a cup game. Anything can happen. Their strike force, it does scare me. But Aguero is probably going to be out. Now, I know they've got Jesus and Sterling and great players to come in for it, but he is their best striker, in my opinion. And it looks like he could be out for a few weeks. So let's hope he doesn't make that game because it is only in 3 weeks' time. So listen, we've got a chance. It's Wembley. It's a cup game. Let's go into it positively. We've got young players that get out. And let's not forget, we've got the perfect manager that knows how to play against this team. And he wasn't allowed to because David Luiz prevented it last time. So let's go in there with the confidence that we're going to keep 11 men on the pitch and see what happens there. We've got to go be in there and be positive, boys, and try and get to the cup final, ain't we now?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. Well said, Danny boy. Well said.
Have to be positive. Yeah, no, we have to be positive, but how?
Be realistic, Corey, at the same time.
No. Yeah, I mean, like, how would we beat them? I mean, obviously, it's only a few games ago where we played them. How much shots do we have on target?
Yeah, Yeah, this is it.
There's none. So it's like, so to go from that to beating them in a competition that they're going to want to win, because obviously they've missed out on the league. The Champions League's still there, but they're going to want a trophy.
They've had the League Cup. They're greedy bastards. If they win.
That's not enough. The League Cup and the FA Cup, that's an okay season for City. And so they're going to want to beat us. They're going to want to win this.
Corey, who do you prefer in between the sticks? You got Martinez, who's covering for Leno at the moment, and he's played well. His distribution has been quite good. Some of the guys on YouTube have made some comments on the Mem, who's on the show, has mentioned that Martinez's distribution is good. Would you play Martinez more?
Yeah, he's looked good. Since he's come in. He's not really done anything wrong. I've always liked Martinez. Even in the Europa games, I always thought that he looked pretty decent. So he's not surprised me that he's done well since he's come in. So yeah, I'll keep him there. Why not?
We've got Norwich tomorrow evening, 6:00. I don't know if any of you guys have registered as season ticket holders. You can register for your BT pass. If you don't have BT Sports, you can register and they'll give you free access so you can watch our remaining 4 home games either on BT or Sky, and you can go on the app, or it activates your Sky or Virgin TV stuff. I've had mine come through, so if you haven't, you need to look into that. How confident are we against Norwich, Trevor? Are you confident against Norwich?
What do you think, Fergus? Of course I'm bloody confident. What a stupid question to ask me. We're going to beat Norwich 5-0 tomorrow. 5-0, right? God, Jesus Christ, man. How can you ask me if I'm always confident? Even when I put my foot in it, I'm still confident, aren't I? Hey? And Richard Butler in the comments there, I start off and I agree with Richard. He's a very knowledgeable man and I like him when we met. But sometimes he rubs me up the wrong way. But he's put in the comments, right? And I agree with it. Arteta's plan for the City game, right, will now come into fruition, because this time we won't be playing against Louise. We'll have Louise on our side, hopefully. But tomorrow night, we'll win 5-0 tomorrow night. Watch it. Eddie will score 3. He likes scoring against Norwich, does Eddie? There, that's it. I'm done.
Lee, what's your score prediction then?
Well, I just want to bring up Richard. I never said that Richard knows nothing about football. I just said he's better at quizzes. That's what I said. You know what I mean? We took exception to that, my thing there, you know what I mean? So, actually, what he says there is a great thing. The game against Man City quickly, we had 2 injuries in the first 20 minutes. You know what I mean? I know, people going, oh, well, this didn't work, that didn't work. We had everything that could go against us went against us. Then we had Louise having one of his games. So I think that, and if you're going to win the FA Cup, you've got to beat them somewhere along the line, whether it be the semi-final, third round, or in the final. You're going to have to do it. So, let's bring it on. You've got to be in it to win it. And I think we'll do that,
Probably a tougher opponent, because we would probably be expected to beat them, and we'd go in there as favourites, where we go in against whoever in the
nothing to lose.
Underdogs.
Nothing to lose. I think that was a great sequence last time when it beat Man City, and that set us up for the final. And as I say, probably the best final that I've been to. With the atmosphere that day, Arsenal fans were on form that day. That was fantastic. That is the one thing about, just quickly going on to the FA Cup, a little bit of tinge of disappointment, because when we won the game on Sunday. I'm missing out on the opportunity to go to Wembley. It don't come around as often as you think, lads. You know what I mean? Going to Wembley, even though we seem to go there quite a lot. So I'm gutted that I ain't going to be able to go to Wembley in the semi-final. Yeah. Really a kick in the teeth, that is. But I'm not as positive as Trev for tomorrow. I think that we'll win. I think 2-0. I think we'll be. I don't think Norwich are as bad a side as what people make them out to be. So I love you too, Richard. Apart from when you beat me at quizzes, you know what I mean. I'm jealous because I don't beat him at quizzes. You know what I mean. I've got to get something in on him. No, I think that I think that Sunday's game was a massive shot in the arm for us as well on the confidence side of things. Let's face it, we're all buzzing for tomorrow now. Why? Because we've won a couple of games and the expectation has gone up, which is a worry for us Arsenal fans. But I think that, if we can get a win tomorrow, play well, defend well. I think that's important that we defend well. If we defend well, we'll have too much from on the top half. And so I think 2-0. But if it's 5-0, I'm going to, next time I see Trev, I'm going to kiss him.
Oh, I hope it's 4-0. I'll go for 4-0.
Scott Run, what are you going for?
I'm going to go for the same result as Sunday. I think we're going to win 2-1. It's not often we keep a clean sheet, to be fair. So I still think Norwich have got some serious football in them when they want to be, football inside. But I think it will play into our hands, and I think we will get 2-1. I'd love to be as confident as Trevor. I'd love a 4-5-0, but I don't want Lee to kiss me, so I'm going to go 2-1.
And Corey, did you pick a score? You didn't pick a score, did you?
No, I'm picking one right now. I'm leaning more towards Trevor's prediction. I think we're going to smack
He
that.
wants a kiss. Yeah, Corey wants a kiss.
That's a kiss.
No, I think obviously this is our home game. It's, you know, like I think we've traveled up and down the country. By the time we getting back home, I think we're really going to be feeling it. I think Norwich ain't really in the best shape at the moment. I think, like we talked about Aubameyang, I think he is due a goal or two. So I think I could definitely see him getting a brace, and I think it could be sort of 3-0. Let's say 3-0.
That's exactly what I'm going for, 3-0. And then the following weekend we've got Wolves away. That might be a tougher ask, and I think that might be, if we can get a draw there, I think we'll do quite well on.
Do you know, after this Norwich game, we've got Wolves, Leicester, Spurs, Liverpool, and Man City. That's not tasty, is it?
No, it's not. No, it's not. Let's just stop at the. We'll stop at the Norwich game.
Yeah, stop at Norwich. Yeah.
The only thing I was going to ask, Lee, you said you feel a bit, sad that we can't go to Wembley. Yeah, I understand that. But wouldn't this have been a perfect opportunity with COVID and everything else, that they've come along, could have tossed for it, or they could have picked a different venue, played it at Leighton Orient, for Christ's sake, played anywhere, but they don't need to play it at Wembley.
Yeah, I don't understand why they're playing at Wembley, to be honest. It's not like, I think for the semi-final, it's always been for the financial reasons, isn't it? So you can get the bigger crowd in. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Even like the playoff finals yesterday was played at Wembley as well. I don't understand why it's being played at Wembley. I'd have thought it would have been better for a neutral ground. It would have been better for both sets of players, and in fairness to all the four teams, if they were probably played at Villa Park or somewhere in the Midlands, so that they've got to travel halfway each. The two Manchester clubs have got to travel down to London. Slight advantage to the two London teams, if I'll be honest. Yeah. So I'm not going to knock that. So, but yeah, listen. I think Trev would probably agree with me, being like from the old school as well. I don't think semi-finals should be played at Wembley anyway. You know what I mean? No. To me, they should always be on a neutral ground, and the final being at Wembley. But it's all about money now, and. For me, I don't know why it is that that they have to play them at Wembley, but they are. And I'm glad we're going back. It's just for me, Arsenal being at Wembley, is always I don't know. Even if in the semi-finals, I've loved the day. Even the semi-finals, just being, it's always nice to go and play at Wembley. And unfortunately, the team will be there, but unfortunately, we won't be. Sad.
It is sad.
Yeah,
it is sad. And that will put our Villa game off as well. So we'll have a midweek game because we're meant to play Villa that weekend. So that'll be moved probably. Boys, it's been fantastic as always. Corey, welcome back. Don't leave us so long the next time. Lee, yellow, yeah?
Yeah.
Yellow.
Yellow.
What did she wear? Dan, that beard is...
She wore. I'm with you now. She wore. Sorry.
The beard is getting bigger. We'll need a second screen for you if you come on next week.
Yeah, man. It's getting there. It's getting there.
Trevor, was this positive enough for you? Was it upbeat and positive?
It was good, but I've got to agree with Lee. The end bits put me on a bit of a downer because I'm missing a trip to Wembley, possibly 2 trips to Wembley. And at my age, I ain't got many more chances, you know. So I'm gutted about us not being able to go and watch our team at Wembley because it's the pinnacle of a supporter season, isn't it? You know, the whole day. And it's a shame, but it has to be done, I suppose. I don't know why they're playing them at Wembley. But going back to moving the semis to Wembley, you see, it's sort of moved. Now people celebrate a quarter-final win much, much more. What do people sing at quarter-finals now? We're going to Wembley because they're going there for the semis. Shouldn't happen, really, but obviously, financially, it should. I might let you get a word in. Do you want to say goodnight now, Fergus? I might keep talking for 5 minutes now. No, up the Arsenal. We're going to beat Norwich 5-0 tomorrow. Wolves is a different proposition, so I'm only going to 4-0 against Wolves. All right, boys.
Trevor, you're priceless. You're absolutely priceless. Right, you have been listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons and watching Guns and Yellow Ribbons. Thank you, everybody in the chat. We've quite a number of people in the chat, both on Facebook and on YouTube. Quite a number of you joined in on us, watching us live. We really appreciate that. Do like and share us. And if you like us on YouTube, hit the bell and subscribe. Boys, as always, thank you very, very much. This is an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Only one last thing to say. Up the arse.
Up the arse.
Come on, you Gunners.
Now you yellows.
Yellows.